Welcome to Riff View. In today's lesson, I'm going to be showing you how to play the intro to the song Panama by Van Halen. I'm going to go through and explain how to play the entire riff in more detail than probably anyone else here on YouTube. Be sure to watch to the end of the lesson for a very special offer from my subscribers. Here's the riff that you'll be learning. All right, so let's take a look at how to play Panama by Van Halen. This is the intro. This is the main riff that I think people generally want to play. So in the first measure, you don't have to do anything. In the second measure, we're going to come in on the and of 2. It's a rest on 1, and. What that 999 is, 999, that is an E major triad. It's a second inversion because that's the 5th in the bottom, 5 root 3rd. It's just part of this E bar chord. So you're going 1 and 2 and. So you're kind of holding this chord. You're going. You're just going to hold that E major chord. You go 1 and 2 and. Those 7s here, these E's are palm muted on the 5th string, and then we're going to put our pinky down and play that 9 9 10. That is an E sus4. The reason that's an E sus4 triad basically is because we're taking the 3rd, this G sharp, and putting an A in there, which is the 4th. So from here to here is a 4th. All right, so we're going 1 and 2 and 3. Then on the end of 3 we have 2 more palm muted 7s coming in at 3 and 4. So far we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then we're going to go this 9 8 7. That is a B major. That is a B major triad. That's root 3rd 5th. I'll be honest, when I played this as a teenager in my 20s, I never really thought about what exactly is he doing. I always thought he was doing some kind of maybe turning it from E major to E major 7 or something with a 9 in it. But I think it makes more sense that he's just going E sus4 than to B. I should mention that this riff is tuned a half step down. So you have to take all your strings and tune it down, each string down a half a step. So that's typical for Eddie. And this song is also in the key of E. So as we're playing this, I'm going to talk about, what he's doing, what the chords are, and how they function in the key, which I think it's interesting. If you're interested in music and guitar, I think it's interesting to know these kinds of things. All right, so what he's doing here, so the first measure goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and measure number 3, we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so kind of the same thing. It's very close to the exact same thing as the second measure. All right, so if I put those two together, it's going to sound like. All right, that's measures 2 and 3. All right, and in the 4th measure, we're going to get down here, and we're going to work with a D chord. It's going to be similar. It's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like. So if you play that kind of more up to speed, it sounds like. So what he's playing there, he's kind of pedaling off of the D here. And if you're like, well, why is he playing a D major chord in the key of E major? Because that does not belong in there. I believe, to me, what I think he's doing is he's just borrowing, this is the flat 7 chord from E minor. I believe he's just borrowing it because he's not going to do something with that D sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord, the 7 chord. That's kind of lame. So I believe he is just borrowing this chord from minor. That sounds a lot cooler, and I think that's why he's using it. All right, so for measure number 4, we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then what's going to happen is for the measure number 5, he kind of goes. What he's doing there is he's kind of raking his way. Basically what I do is I just kind of hit the harmonics here on fret number 5. It doesn't say that in the tab. What it does sound like he somehow is going. I think he's hitting this second string open and kind of dive bombing it, and that is, I believe, what he actually is doing. But I thought it was kind of fun to just do this, to go. Since my hand is right here, this finger is on that on the 3rd string. I thought that was an easy one to grab. Since my finger's right there, it's easy to pluck that one. I don't think it really, if you want to do it exactly the way he's doing it, you probably need to somehow take that second string, pluck it open, and then let it go ahead and then dive bomb. But me in the video, I just did some kind of I just hit some harmonics on the 5th fret. And then really the tricky part is kind of doing that and then hitting that open E before the riff basically starts again. And you think, well, why is that? It's not tricky. You have to have a real good sense of timing to know where that's going to come in. So on the end of measure number 5, we're coming in with an open E, and we're going 1, or it's more like it's coming in on the 4, and then going into measure 6, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... All right, so measure number 7, we're kind of just repeating the first riff that you did. So we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Then measure number 8, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now going into measure number 9, he doesn't do any kind of dive bomb, but he does do a pick slide. Comes in on the and of 1, so he's kind of going... So how Eddie typically is, he does a pick slide. He starts with his pick. And then he finishes with his hand. And what that does is that allows this hand to get back down here. So you're kind of going... Ready to take your riff game to the next level? My online course, Guitarmy Riff Factory, gives you instant access to over 200 pro-level riffs that you can learn on your schedule, whether you're on a phone, tablet, or computer. It's the ultimate way to sharpen your skills, boost your confidence, and turn heads every time you pick up the guitar. Join now and get 50% off with code RIFF50 at checkout. Don't miss this chance to build your riff arsenal fast. So at the end of measure 9, me personally, I didn't do this in the video. I think I tried it. He does those 2 16th notes at the end of measure number 9. They come in on the anda of 4, like 4 and. It's kind of fun and dramatic. If you can do it, then go ahead and do it. So we're doing this kind of pick slide. Then going into measure 10, what we're doing is hitting a C sharp minor chord. C sharp minor is the 6th chord in the key of E. So that's a diatonic chord. So you hit that, let it ring for 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do some palm muted C sharps. So then going into measure number 11, we're going 1 and 2 and... This is basically this 4 4 4. It's the 5 chord. It's a B triad. Right here. He's not grabbing the B down here. So this comes in on the and of 2, this 4 4 4. So it's like 2 and 3 and he's turning it into a B sus 4 chord, which he enjoys doing. So you're going in that measure is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so it sounds like I always just thought it sounded really cool. So he's going B, B sus 4, B, hit the open A, and then slide down from B, this B triad here, 4 4 4, in measure 12. He's sliding it down on the end of 1 to an A chord. So then this is an A triad here, the 2 2 2. Then you rest, and then on the and of 2, you hit a full A chord. Then you don't play anything on the downbeat of 3, and then on the and of 3, you come back in with another A. So that section's going to be like coming in on measure 10. I love that part. Going into measure number 13, we're still letting this ring, and then we're going to come in on the end of 1 and go. I always try to pinch, well, basically I'm on 52, the 5th string, 2nd fret. I like to use my 2nd finger. You can use whatever finger you want. I just find that my middle finger's tougher. So I always try to do like kind of a pinch harmonic. You don't always grab it, but I try to. Did not grab it there. Sometimes you gotta take whatever you can get. And, you know, well, you don't want to do that. But, you know, I'm taking that 2 there on the end of 1. And you try to pinch it. We're going into measure number 14 to play that C sharp chord again. And then on the end of 3, it's going to go 3 and 4 and. So if you notice when I'm playing this, I'm not putting this finger down. It's because we need to play this note, that 4, 6, 4. So it sounds like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then going into 15, we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then going into 16, we're going to slide down and go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then measure 17. We don't play anything on 1. We're letting it ring. And then we're going to play some palm muted open A's in measure number 17, coming in on beat number 2 where the arrow is. And we're going to go 2 and 3 and 4 and I like to accent this B power chord here. It just seems to be kind of more dramatic if you do. So that 17 sounds like. Loving the new Riff U series? Now you can wear your love loud and proud. Grab the official Riff U t-shirt from the merch shop down below. It's the perfect fit for riff junkies who like to wear their fashion as sharp as their bends. You know who you are. Then measure number 18, we're going to switch to this and we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's supposed to be a harmonic. To me, this was always the trickiest part of the whole riff is trying to nail this. I would always have trouble hitting those harmonics. I think other people do as well. I'm not the only one. So in measure 18, we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then on the end of 4, you have to hit that harmonic there on the 1st string 5th fret. And then going into measure 19, we're going over here to the 2nd string 4th fret to hit that harmonic. And then we're hitting the harmonic on the 4th fret on the end of 1. So we're kind of going 1 and then it's going to go 2 and 3 and 4. The part that's tricky about this is coming out of that and then coming right in on the end of 4 at the end of measure 19 to do the next section. I think that's always tricky because I'm always so worried about hitting these harmonics that I feel like you have to feel where 1 is, or else it's just too fast to count. All right, so that section there, if we go back to measure 18, I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... if you listen to the actual recording, this was one section where I was tempted to try to go in and fix it, because if you listen, when I play the whole thing, I think I'm only hitting one of the 4s. I'm not... It didn't really sound like I was doing 2. So I thought about trying to go in and fix it, but like, who cares? It is what it is. If you think you can record this absolutely dead on perfect, go ahead and try. It is not easy to play the entire riff absolutely perfect. I can go through and pick out every single thing I did not do 100% correct in this. But sometimes you got to do a bunch of takes and you just take one. No pun intended. You just go with one of them. All right, now after the harmonics, we're going to go into the next section that sounds like... All right, so we're leading into measure number 20 with an E power chord on the end of 4, 4, and then we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So you get this, which sounds pretty awesome. I just think that's a killer little chord progression. And then measure number 21, we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So to review that, we're coming in at the end of 19 there, going... What he's doing there is, I've seen tabs that say to do like this, like that. I don't think that's right. I think most people say to do it this way. I like to use just one finger. I see people that do 2 fingers. Do whatever you want. I believe that he's thinking of this as a G power chord. It's power chord because this is G and this is D. This is the root and the 5th. It's kind of reversed instead of this power chord. Sounds like I need to tune up, so I will be right back. All right, so now that I'm back, he's just going... this is a G power chord sliding up to an A power chord. It's an A power chord because the 5th is in the bottom. I hate the word reverse power chord, but that's kind of what it is. Instead of having the A in the bottom, it's having the A on top. All right, and then you basically just do that again. You do it again for measures 22 and 23. It just goes... All right, now I'm going to attempt to play through this slowly, and you can go ahead and play along with me. Here we go. 3, 4. All right, that was certainly not perfect. There was a nasty little chord in there somewhere. I guess I could re-record it, but I think you get the gist. My advice is this is a pretty tough riff to play, so I would practice it slowly and get used to the fingering, and then slowly, then worry about speeding it up, after you've played it for a little while. And that is how you play the entire riff to Panama. I think of this as one of the biggest riffs, at least in my brain. This is one of the biggest riffs of the 80s. Maybe it isn't for what you listen to, but this riff in this song, I tried so hard. I had my 5150 or like my Live Without a Net videotape, and I would watch it over and over and try to watch and see exactly what he's doing. And this was always one of my favorite songs to play. Still haven't mastered it, but I can play it pretty well at this point. And that is how you play Panama by Van Halen. All right, here's the special offer that I promised at the end of the video. I'm calling it the 10 for 10 deal. The first 10 people that sign up for my Guitarmy Riff Factory course can grab it for just $10 using the coupon code RIFF10 at checkout. Just don't forget to enter the code. You'll find the link down in the description. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I hope you had a blast learning this guitar riff. If you dug the lesson, don't forget to subscribe and smash that notification bell so you're always first in line for new videos. Got a riff that's stuck in your head? Drop it in the comments. I'm always riff hunting for new ideas. Until next time, keep riffing.